pre-modern societies and social orders, sometimes known as primitive or traditional societies. This video will be best understood in connection with another video called Types of Society. This video can be thought of as a parent to this video that you're watching now. In the Types of Society video, I explained that a social order can be classified as belonging to one of three groups. It could be a pre-modern society, a modern society, or a postmodern society. This categorization is based on a variety of characteristics: population, living arrangements, division of labor, technological development, diversity, social solidarity, and rationality. Another way of thinking about this is that a person, for example, living in a pre-modern society is going to have a particular kind of life experience that will be very different from a person living in a postmodern society. The differences in life experiences are created by the differences in these characteristics. Different population size, different tech, shapes the experience people have. In a broader, more macro sociological level, these different characteristics shape and change the way the society actually functions. The fundamental idea here is that a pre-modern society works in a different way than a postmodern society, precisely because of these different characteristics. Hopefully this will be a bit clearer as we go through the example. If I were to create one phrase that epitomized or typified a pre-modern society, it might look something like this: "Our way is the only way." Now, at first hearing, that sounds kind of arrogant, and you may think, well, these people must be very vain or ignorant. And that isn't exactly true. Oftentimes, this attitude is the result not of arrogance, but of isolation. The example that I always use to teach this is that of a tropical island with maybe 300 or 400 people living on it. They've been there for generations, they've never traveled off the island, and they've never had visitors from other islands. For these people on this island represents, quite literally, the entire world. Their way is the only way, not because they think they're better than other people, but because they don't even know that other people exist. Now, isolation is one factor that contributes to a pre-modern attitude or a pre-modern society, but there are other things as well, as we've listed before. Population. Pre-modern societies usually have a very small population. Living arrangements, usually isolated, often rural, or in this example on an island, usually small enough and isolated enough that everyone knows everyone within that society. They may not know all the individuals, but they know the family names and the different clan groups, for example. One of the most important aspects of a pre-modern society is the division of labor. This is Emil Durkheim's idea. What a division of labor is it's simply how the tasks within a society are divided. If everyone in a society is doing more or less the same kind of work, everyone's a hunter, everyone's a farmer, everyone's a fisherman, the division of labor is low. If each person has a very specialized kind of job, then division of labor is high. Technological development is usually pretty low, or in some cases it can be very specialized. This is different than this idea of specialization. A quick example, if you imagine the engineers working in a large factory, they have a very different job than the rest of the people in the factory, but amongst themselves they're all doing the same kind of thing. Very high tech, but very specialized, so they are fairly homogeneous. The next point in a pre-modern society is diversity. Social diversity is very low. This means that everyone in a society is fairly similar and like one another. Often this is connected to the division of labor. If everyone's doing the same kind of job, everyone tends to have the same kind of perspective on the world. Deviance in a pre-modern society is often controlled physically, meaning that the human body is physically attacked or punished. Things like flogging or hanging or banishment, physically expelling you from the society, are the most common forms of punishment. Social solidarity in a pre-modern society is based on what we call mechanical solidarity, and there's a video about that if you want to get into that in more detail. Social solidarity just means the way that people in a society connect to one another, and it goes back to this idea of them being homogeneous and very similar, very alike one another. The final idea is rationality. This just means the way people in a society think about the world. pre-modern societies tend to be non-rational. And this doesn't mean that they're irrational. It's quite different. What this means is that their thoughts are based primarily on tradition. The main question is not what's the best way to do this, but how have we always done it before? In connection with this, there's often a strong spiritual component to the society. Religions tend to be stronger in pre-modern societies than they are in postmodern societies, for example. Thank you for watching.